"Have faith. Be brave, Sig," Anna had said, and they'd gone, leaving him with Einar. He rubbed the back of his neck with one hand, then stopped himself, remembering it was a gesture of his father's. Sig had heard stories that when you freeze to death, the last thing you feel is a wonderful warmth spread through your whole body, filling you with joy. He hoped it was like that for his father, but a bit of him in the corner of his mind wondered how anyone actually knows. Again he was reminded of his father, who would always say, "Know what you can. Know everything you can know." All Sig knew as he knelt by his father was that suddenly there had been the sound of skis shushing up behind him, and Anna and Nadia were there. He remembered little of the hurried plans. Anna and Nadia had come fully dressed for the snow. They'd seen Sig on the ice and had rushed out to intercept him. The snow sifted down on them insistently, and hesitantly they managed to lift Einar onto the sled, trying to suppress their panic, pushing aside the shock of seeing Einar dead. The ice had complained and whined, yet none of them spoke of the sudden frozen end that could take them at any moment. With Einar on the sled, they made it to the cabin, running onto the land, before the creaking and cracking could shatter their nerve entirely. There had been a short, silent standoff, as they wondered who should go and who should stay, and in the end, Sig, seeing the discomfort on his sister's face, had said, "You two go. I'll wait." Nadia squeezed his hand. "Bravely done," she whispered. Then the two women had gone to town for help. "Be brave," Anna had said. She was trying not to cry. Nadia had said nothing. There was an empty look in her eyes, as if the cold landscape had taken possession of them. They'd set off with the dogs once again, Anna driving the team, standing on the runners, Nadia sitting where Einar had lain. Sig watched them vanish, and between the smoky trees and the gray snow in the dusk, they vanished very quickly indeed. He headed back to the cabin. He'd closed the fire down a little before going to bed, now that it was full of food and eating slowly but happily. He looked at the narrow bed where Einar and Nadia slept, and the bench where Anna put her mattress every night. He had a choice of beds now. Then he looked at his father on the table, and he opted for his sacks of flour in the freezing larder, leaving the warmth of the cabin to the corpse. In the pale morning, rubbing his arms to get the blood moving, Sig stumbled into the light. His father had moved. He looked as though he were sleeping, turned on one side with his arms and legs now gently folded beside him. Sig rushed over to the table, a stupid hope rising to his lips, and then he saw his father's face, and he knew he hadn't come back to life. His body had simply thawed and relaxed, the rigor mortis passing too. But there was no life in his eyes, nor breath in his mouth, already starting to pinch into a death mask. Sig collapsed back onto the chair behind him and stifled the tears that began to burn in his eyes, because he understood that it would not help to cry. Then there was a knock at the door.